Shading is showing value with a colored pencil or regular pencil. So when you take your pencil and you press hard, it's going to create a dark value. As you start to release pressure and color a little bit lighter very gradually, you can create dark to light shading values. This is called a value scale. Eventually, I'm going to press so lightly it almost blends in to white. This is how you can create shadows and highlights on things that you are drawing in your artwork. This technique works best if you have a sharp tip. If your tip is broken off, shading isn't going to work very well. It also works to hold your pencil a little farther back like this while you shade in the same direction. Once you figure out how to create value by going from dark, by pressing hard with your pencil, to pressing lighter and lighter and lighter to the lightest value, then you can start to understand how to do all of these drawing techniques. The first one is called stippling. Stippling is when you take a pencil or a marker and you create little dots. This technique takes a lot of patience. Now, the closer the dots are together, the darker the value is going to be. The more spread out that the dots are, the lighter the value will be. Sometimes marker works better because the color can be darker, so it looks a little like this. An artist named George Seurat is very famous for his painting that uses the stippling technique. Our next technique is hatching. Hatching is when you use lines going in the same direction to create value. The farther apart the lines, again like those dots, the lighter the value will be. The closer the lines are together, the darker the value will be. Our next technique is called cross hatching. It's similar to hatching, it just has lines going in different directions. So it starts out the same way as hatching, but in the shadowy areas, you're going to cross lines through to create an effect called cross hatching. Lots of cartoon artists use this, and very graphic people who like to use pen. This is a great technique to use to create value. Scumbling is a little like using controlled scribbling. So if you're doing textures like on a tree, you're just going around and scribbling around in different ways. And then you can blend it with other colors. So I might want to add some yellow into this, or blue. Blending you can do with a lot of different art tools. You can use colored pencil, you can use oil pastels, chalk, all kinds of things. So I like to start with the lighter color first. And I'm going to color and shade in one direction to start. Then I'm going to take my other color and blend it over the top and overlap. And the darker the color is, the lighter you're going to want to press with your colored pencil. If you press really, really dark, it's not going to blend. And where they have overlapped is where the color changes. So this kind of turned it more orange. It doesn't work so well when you start with a dark color and press really, really, really hard and add a color on top. Do you see that that isn't showing up? That kind of blending doesn't work. You have to have two lightly shaded areas overlapping. This technique works great for skin tones or hair colors that have lots of different colors in them. Oil pastels are another technique you can use, or tool you can use to blend with. So if you always start with the lightest color first. And this one's a little dirty, so I'm going to clean it off on a paper towel by just rubbing the edge. Then I'm going to take my oil pastel and just color lightly to start. And then I'm going to take the darker blue and I'm going to press lighter with the darker color, otherwise it overpowers. If you want it to really blend well and have a smooth transition, go back over the top with the lighter color again, and do you see how it made it smoother? Then you can keep coloring and blend in even more colors. If you want to create a lighter color, what you can do is color lightly with a dark color, and then take white and color over the top, and that will make the color smoother and also lighter. So do you see how the red turned to pink? Chalk works the same way as oil pastels. You're going to take your block of chalk. I have it separated in these baskets. They get very dusty, so make sure you organize it by warm, cool, and neutral colors, just so it keeps the dust from getting all the colors all dirty. So I'm going to start with yellow because yellow can mix with a lot of different colors, and I'm rubbing it on the side. You don't need a lot of chalk to make chalk work because you can blend it with your finger. And I'm doing it on a dark paper because chalk shows up really nicely on different colors of paper. And then if I want to mix it with a different color, I can take a different, so yellow and blue can blend to make a nice green in the middle there. And if I want it to have a smoother look, I'm just going to take my finger and blend it. You do have to be careful that you're not mixing all your colors with the same finger, otherwise the color is going to get dirty as you work. If you want a color to get lighter, it's the same as oil pastels. Add a little bit of white to the top of it, and the color will get lighter. So as you can see, you can blend with a lot of different tools. You can use colored pencils, oil pastels, chalk, all kinds of things. However, if you want finer details, the pencil works best. As you can see, this is a thick tip, so you're not going to be able to get fine details.